Right now at 5, KDK Airsoft puts on its second annual Halloween maze where participants had to run from zombies.
If you're getting out and starting your morning drive, it is pretty foggy out there. We're going to talk about the fog, some clearing skies, and maybe even some storm chances coming up.
And we take you to Peace Church Cemetery where we learn more about how a volunteer group keeps the history of the cemetery alive.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Buck.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is very foggy. Did you run into any on your way in?
The entire way,
Yeah. I mean, I had a couple of clear patches, but boy, I haven't seen fog that dense in a while around the area. So
the good thing though, vehicles were driving slow and safely.
So was I, because again, it was very foggy this morning. The other thing, I wanted to share this because it just amused me. And this is a good reminder to folks at home too. Sometimes technology malfunctions, okay? So our weather system, because it's linked to social media, sometimes gives us alerts on things that it thinks are interesting little factoids to post to the web. Well, one of the notices that it gave me this morning is that Joplin recorded a high over our temperature of greater than 100 degrees yesterday. Which I thought, okay, well, I don't remember this, but then it tells you what the temperature was, and it says that at 1:59 yesterday, Joplin reported a high of 136.4.
Okay.
So I'm wanting to make sure everyone in Joplin's all right. I mean, I don't remember my house catching fire.
Someone was breathing some fire on the thermostat.
I don't know what exactly caused that, but it was an interesting anomaly, and it cracked me up this morning, so I just thought I'd share. But it's just a reminder that sometimes the data points have malfunctions, and so that's one of those fine examples, because I do not remember the flames or the screams yesterday afternoon.
No, not at all.
And I was home all day, so.
And it was kind of raining around 1 o'clock. So.
Yeah, it was a little cloudy, a little cool. I don't remember 136 degree temperatures. But what we do have that's really happening is fog across the area. It is pretty dense in some locations, as Tanya and I were just talking about. In some instances, the visibility is almost zero, so do slow down out there. 7th and Range line, you can't really see the fog too well on this camera, but it's there. 54 degrees in Joplin right now. Temperatures across the area aren't too shabby either. We've got 45 Neodesha, 50 Parsons in Pittsburgh, 52 Lamar, and 51 in Carthage. For your commuter cast, I do believe it's actually the fog that's kind of offsetting the focus on our camera looking live, the MoDOT camera that looks west on I-44 from Range line. We do have a red light for those foggy conditions, and they're expected to persist through your morning drive, so do slow down and be careful out there. Don't use your brights, use your fog lights if you have them, otherwise use low beams. But the good news is your drive home looks pretty good, mostly clear in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus, do be prepared for that spooky Halloween fog. 47 when they get on the bus and a calm wind. Clouds will clear out later. That's supposed to be a mostly clear icon, not a mostly cloudy, but that's all right. 68 degrees. As we go through today, we got an afternoon high of 67 under mostly clear skies, and we'll have partly cloudy skies this evening, dropping back down to 48, so perfect trick-or-treating weather because we'll be in the 50s leading up to that. We'll take a look at some storm chances that are on the way and talk more about the Halloween trick-or-treating forecast in depth here in just a few minutes.
That's a very good plan. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, KDK Airsoft had its second annual Halloween maze. They simulated in the maze participants defending themselves along with the maze and running from zombies. The event was accompanied with music, food, and candy.
My favorite thing with all of this is just scaring kids, man. Come on, that's what every adult wants to do, right? Get out there and run around on Halloween and give them a spook. No, really. For me, it's awesome to see the community coming in and kids being able to come enjoy themselves and have a good time, and then it also doesn't break the bank either,
With Halloween wrapping up and Thanksgiving and Christmas on the horizon, you can find local events on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Peace Church Cemetery in Jasper County has a long history, and the workers want to keep it alive even though new burials have not been done for years. Our very own Yana Tula takes us to the cemetery to tell us more about it. Yana?
Thank you, Tanya, and good morning. We're live here at the Peace Church Cemetery, where they have not been taking any new burials for a few years for a reason. Even though the graveyard doesn't look full, the whole 5 acres of land is packed with graves. According to the caretaker Jim Beeler, new burials are not encouraged because there are several unmarked graves. Beeler says some graves face vandalism as they may have get stolen, kicked down, or destroyed. One gravestones were chiseled off.
The stones were desecrated by somebody chiseling off the information. We don't know what for what purpose, but we're looking into that now. We think we might know who those individuals are, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe make them a new stone.
Yep. Beeler told me that sometimes people enter this graveyard to have haunted experiences, but he also wishes that people don't do that because he wants to respect the dead people here. Live in Joplin, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
All right, thanks, Jana. And yes, we did send her live from the cemetery on Halloween morning. All right, thank you. Joplin's Empire Market celebrates Halloween in style. Empire Market typically used to give local vendors an opportunity to sell and showcase their items, but on Saturday they used the space for kids to go trick-or-treating. Of course, there was candy, but there were farm animals to pet and a virtual costume contest.
Just the fact that it draws all these people here. We've got this cool place. We've got you know, the Empire Market. We're here every Saturday 10 to 2, and it's just it's like some people don't know about it sometimes, and we want whatever it takes to get the word out. And because the more people come, it's more community. We build community and learn and grow.
Empire Market is located at 931 East 4th Street in Joplin.
All right, quick look at the sunrise and sunset for today. 7:41 is when the sun will rise. 6:21 is when it will set. At 7-day forecast, we've got 70s leading into the end of the week, and that's when we see increasing storm chances that we are keeping an eye on. One thing they could do is bring us a fair amount of rain, which of course we do need across the area. And a quick check of your Halloween forecast if you've got some trick-or-treating to do. We go hour by hour for the evening, and we're 66 at 6, 62 by 7, and 59 by 8 o'clock tonight. So again, just absolutely wonderful trick-or-treating weather across the area today.
All right, that's good. Good news. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Webb City Volleyball makes history as they claim a spot in the Final Four. Chris will have the details in sports.
Plus, the Chicago History Museum puts on a creepy exhibit just in time for Halloween.
And why black women are more likely to die from breast cancer than white women. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, the Pitt State women's basketball team was in Kansas City for an exhibition game. The Gorillas hit the floor against the University of Missouri-Kansas City. Pitt State brings back the W, beating the Division I Kansas City Roos 77-71. Tristan Gegg dropped a game-high 34 points. She hit 7 of 10 from 3 yesterday. Gorillas opened their season on November 11th in Topeka for the MIAA GAC Conference Challenge. Webb City Volleyball made history on Saturday, claiming a spot in the Final Four for the very first time. The Cardinals beat Helios Catholic in the state quarterfinals in a 5-set thriller. They were down 2-1, but rallied back to win the match 3-2.
These kids have just worked their guts out, heart and guts, you know, since they were little even. And they've always bought in, and we just really played as hard as we can. And, you know, they've just grown every game. We get better every game. And as hard as those 2 sets that we lost were, you know, hurting us, but I swear it still made us better. And we came back. I think we're even better today. At the end of today, we're a better team than we were walking in.
Pitt State football clinched at least a share of the conference championship on Saturday. It's the Gorillas' 13th MIAA title and first since 2014. Pitt State now 9-0 following the win over Central Oklahoma. The Gorillas ran the ball well on Saturday, totaling 198 yards on the ground. Caleb Lewis led the team with 97, and he added 2 touchdowns. Antoine Nunn Jr. had a pick 6, his 3rd interception of the year. And Dubin Okanowo tallied 2.5 sacks for a loss of 22 yards. Southern now 4-5 this season after falling to Missouri Western 31-27 on Saturday. It's the 3rd time this year the Lions have lost by just 4 points or less. Now to some positives though. Dwayne Lawson had a nice day. He rushed for 125 yards, including an 80-yard touchdown run. Coleman Booker had 8 tackles and a forced fumble. Oklahoma beat Iowa State on Saturday 27-13 and picked up their second straight win. Sooners defense came up big when they needed to. They held Iowa State to just 66 yards on the ground and also had 3 interceptions in the game. Here's head coach Brent Venabele's thoughts on his group's performance.
Really just loved our mindset. You know, had an attack mindset all day, had three interceptions. Danny Stutzman with his first career interception. Puts us in a position to go score. Just fantastic. Just thought our guys up front were disruptive. We played downhill and physical. Our positioning was really pretty good.
Well, still to come, the UK mints its first coins with the country's new ruler on them. Plus, we got to check out your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, now 5:16 on this fine Monday morning. We've got some weather trivia for you today. It's been called the deadliest storm in American history. Which city was destroyed with up to 12,000 people killed in 1900? Was it Boise, Idaho, Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine, or Galveston, Texas? We'll have the answer for you here in just a second. But first, look at the fog tracker. Gabe, every morning does something to just distract me. I swear, and I've got that bad squirrel complex, so he's got to settle down over there. We do have some dense fog across the area. On my drive-in, right about through here, ran into some spots with almost zero visibility, so do be cautious if you're driving this morning. Right now in Joplin, it is 54 degrees with some patchy fog in the area. Temperatures across the region not too shabby. 50 in Independence, 47 Chatopa, 48 Miami, 49 Neosho, and 50 in Monette. So your commuter cast, live look at the MoDOT camera looking west on I-44 from Rangeline. It looks good, but we do have that red light because you could run into some pretty dense fog, and that fog won't start burning off until later this morning, otherwise in the 40s. A green light for your drive home is will be mostly clear and in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus, they're going to have to deal with some of that fog this morning. 47 degrees, though, at the KOAM wind when they go to school. I still haven't changed that, but it's mostly clear when they get home at 3:68 with a light west breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Heading for an afternoon high of 67 under mostly clear skies today. Heading into tonight, looking really good as well. We drop back down to a low of 48, but during the trick-or-treating portion, we'll be in the lower 60s and upper 50s. Now, for the answer to our question as to which city was destroyed in 1900, well, if you picked D, Galveston, Texas, you would be correct. And on September 8th, 1900, a hurricane made landfall near the city. And back then, they had little warning of its approach. 7-day forecast, we start to warm into the 70s as we head through the week, and then we're watching some thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend, which could bring us some good amounts of rain, possibly could be strong to severe. Of course, it's still several days out, and we'll keep a close eye on them for you. Well, when the lights go out at the Chicago History Museum, dolls that have spent decades locked away in storage emerge from the shadows to play. Now, just in time for Halloween, the museum is shedding light on its assembly of creepy characters. Scattered and hidden within another exhibit, the Haunted Dolls and History's Horrors collection seeks to share with visitors ghost tales about the Windy City's past. Jackie Kostek takes us on a tour.
Some new figures are hiding out inside of the Chicago History Museum's Crossroads of America exhibit.
There are 13 dolls that are lurking in areas that they do not belong.
Until recently, the chilling toys were just haunting museum storage. Now, visitors can stare into their vacant, glassy eyes and learn some scary secrets about the city's past.
All the dolls have link to Chicago and Chicago history.
Museum curator Charles Bethea says Chicago has plenty of ghost stories.
Real tragedies and disasters such as the Eastland disaster or the Iroquois theater fire, to some of the more popularly known ghost tales like the woman in gray or the woman in red who threw herself off allegedly from the Congress Hotel. This particular doll has been in our collection for a number of years.
For decades, she was stored next to a gigantic distorted mirror.
Her face, over the period of time, has become disfigured. So you have to ask, what did she see in that reflection?
And meet Lullaby Lucy.
This one here is actually one of my favorite.
Lucy has been spending her nights at the museum in a peaceful slumber. Or has she?
So we're wondering, is she dreaming? What are her nightmares of?
Visitors are provided clues about where to find the dolls, if they dare to search.
There are some that would definitely send some chills up and down visitors' spines.
But like any nightmare, the dolls' visit is only temporary. Soon they'll find their way back to the museum's darkest corners, where they keep the city's deepest secrets. Jackie Kostek, CBS News, Chicago.
Most of those dolls, as creepy as they are, they're more than a century old. The museum offers two versions of the scavenger hunt, one for adults and then a less scary one for kids. The exhibit runs through November the 6th. And that brings us to our question for you. What's your favorite Halloween monster? Is it ghosts and ghouls, witches, zombies, werewolves, vampires? Maybe something else. We want to hear from you. Make sure you vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Do so through the app and take part in the creepy discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, Black women are 40% more likely than white women to die of breast cancer. A new study in the Journal of Cancer Causes and Control reports the disease is now the leading cause of cancer death among Black women. That means breast cancer has passed lung cancer deaths in African American women who are less likely to get an early diagnosis. Researchers say lack of insurance as well as socioeconomic and transportation issues contribute to Black women having equal access to care. The data highlights several cancer hotspots, mostly in southern poor counties, many along the Mississippi River. The authors call it a national emergency, arguing that Black women having earlier access to screening and treatment could make a huge impact. If you have high blood pressure, you might want to take the medication your doctor prescribes. A new study says it can help prevent dementia later in life. European Heart Journal published the study earlier this week. Researchers followed more than 28,000 adults from 20 countries. Their average age was 69, and they all had a history of hypertension. The study's co-author says it was already known that the risk of dementia increased if a patient has high blood pressure, especially between 40 and 65 years old. However, there was not clear science on whether lowering blood pressure reduced the risk. Blood pressure is measured with two numbers, systolic on the top and diastolic on the bottom. The study's researchers say a drop of 10 from the top and 4 from the bottom made a significant difference. They also say the outcome did not change based on age, sex, or stroke history. Well, one may help save your life, the other may save someone else. But the Red Cross says some people worry about giving blood after getting vaccinated for the flu or COVID-19, and the organization wants to set the record straight. Mindy Gaither has more on the need for blood donations and why there's a concern for blood supplies as we head deeper into the fall and winter.
The temperatures are dropping and respiratory illnesses are on the rise.
That really challenges the blood supply because whatever is affecting the population is affecting our donors.
Blood can't be stockpiled, so it's always needed. The Red Cross says it's especially vital now to help avoid a shortage. But the organization says many people think if they get vaccinated, they're not eligible to donate blood. That's not true.
There are no deferrals for either the flu or the COVID vaccines or boosters. We just ask that the donors be healthy and well with no symptoms the day that they come to donate.
Blood and platelets are needed throughout the year. The Red Cross says 1 in 7 people going to the hospital will need a transfusion. Donations are used to help people through a trauma, surgery, during labor and delivery, and it can be used for cancer patients and more. Supplies can also be impacted by fewer people being able to donate over the holidays or because of severe weather.
It's really a great time to give back to the community because, donating blood does save lives.
If you're interested in giving blood, you can make an appointment on the Red Cross Blood Donor app on their website at redcrossblood.org by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. You can also track where your blood donation went on the app to see how you've helped another person. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got a lot of fog to deal with this morning, especially across southwest Missouri into northeast Oklahoma and portions of southeast Kansas. Some areas have almost zero visibility. We'll talk about the fog in your Halloween forecast coming up.
Right now at 5:30, KDK Airsoft puts on its second annual Halloween maze where participants had to run from zombies.
We've got some foggy conditions across the area as well. We'll take a look at how dense the fog is and what our Halloween forecast looks like coming up.
And we take you to Peace Church Cemetery, where we learn more about how a volunteer group is keeping the history of the cemetery alive.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Tanya Bonk.
I'm Chris Warner. So we were talking earlier about the fog on our drive-in. It wasn't that bad in Joplin. It was patchy fog. It wasn't too thick. But as I got a little further north and west of Carl Junction, I ran in spots where, I'm not kidding, it was zero visibility. I couldn't see, a few feet ahead of me.
No street lights anywhere, and along the highway, it's dark.
Yeah, it's very dark, and that only exacerbates the fog situation. So let's take a look at the fog tracker real quick, and you can see we still have some dense fog out there across southwest Missouri and into northeast Oklahoma, and again, some heavily reduced visibility, so do be aware of that this morning. 7th and Range line is looking good with some patchy fog. You can kind of see it in the lights out there. 54 degrees in Joplin right now. Temperatures across the region also looking pretty decent. 49 Chanute, 50 Parsons, 51 Pittsburgh, 52 in Lamar, and 51 in Nevada. Live look at the MoDOT camera looking west on I-44 from Rangeline. I think some of the focus issue here is some of the fog that it's encountering out there. And you have a red light for your morning drive because of that fog, because as we mentioned, it can be pretty dense in some areas, and it won't burn off until later this morning. Green light, though, for your drive home will be mostly clear in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning will have to deal with some of that fog. 47 with a calm wind. After the fog and clouds clear out, we are mostly clear, looking at a high of 68, and we'll be 68 at 3 o'clock. With that high of 68, again, mostly clear skies. Trick-or-treating weather looks good, as we'll be in the lower 60s and upper 50s. And then for tonight, we'll be partly cloudy, dropping back down to an overnight low of 48 degrees. We do have some rain chances in the forecast. We'll take a look at those, and we'll also talk about the warm-up we're going to see this week here in just a few minutes.
All right, a lot of stuff to discuss. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Joplin's Empire Market celebrates Halloween in style. Empire Market typically is used to give local vendors an opportunity to sell and showcase their items. But on Saturday, they used the space for kids to go trick-or-treating. Of course, there was candy, but there were farm animals to pet and a virtual costume contest.
Just the fact that it draws all these people here. We've got this cool place. We've got the Empire Market. We're here every Saturday 10 to 2, and it's just it's like some people don't know about it sometimes, and we want whatever it takes to get the word out. And because the more people come, it's more community. We build community and learn and grow.
At 931 East 4th Street in Joplin. Peace Church Cemetery in Jasper County has a long history, and the workers want to keep it alive even though new burials have not been done for years there. Our very own Yana Dula takes us to the cemetery to tell us more about it. Yana?
Thank you, Tanya, and good morning from the Peace Church Cemetery. We're live here to talk about the past about it. They have not been taking any burials for a few years for a reason. Even though the graveyard doesn't look full, the whole 5 acres of land is packed with graves. According to the caretaker, Jim Beeler, new burials are not encouraged because there are several unmarked graves. Beeler says some graves face vandalism as they may have get stolen, kicked down, or destroyed. One gravestones were chiseled off.
The stones were desecrated by somebody chiseling off the information. We don't know what for what purpose, but we're looking into that now. We think we might know who those individuals are, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe make them a new stone.
Beeler told me that sometimes people enter the graveyard to have haunted experiences, but he also wishes that people don't do that to respect the dead people here. Live in Joplin, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
All right, thank you so much for that report. We'll see you in about 30 minutes, Yana. Well, KDH Airsoft had its 2nd annual Halloween maze over the weekend. They simulated in the maze participants defending themselves. Along with the maze and running from zombies, the event was accompanied with music, food, and candy.
My favorite thing with all of this is just scaring kids, man. Come on, that's what every adult wants to do, right? Get out there and run around on Halloween and give them a spook. No, really. for me, it's awesome to see the community coming in and kids being able to come enjoy themselves and have a good time, and then it also doesn't break the bank either, you know.
All right, with Halloween wrapping up and Thanksgiving and Christmas on the horizon, you can find local events on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, this morning we're discussing Halloween monsters.
Some new figures are hiding out inside the Chicago History Museum's Crossroads of America exhibit. Until recently, the chilling toys were just haunting museum storage. Now visitors can stare into their vacant, glassy eyes and learn some scary secrets about the city's past.
Ooh, visitors are provided clues about where to find the dolls if they dare to search. But like any nightmare, the dolls' visit is only temporary. Soon they'll find their way back to the museum's darkest corners where they keep the city's deepest secrets.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's your favorite Halloween monster? Is it ghosts and ghouls, witches, zombies, werewolves, vampires, or something else? So far, 33% of you say witches, vampires, and others. So make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and of course take part in the creepy discussion on our Facebook page. Check out the 7-day forecast for you. First off, though, 7:41 for the sunrise, 6:21 for the sunset today. We warm into the 70s as we head through the rest of this week. We'll have some partly cloudy skies, and we're watching increasing shower and thunderstorm chances through the weekend, bringing us some additional much-needed rainfall across the area.
Well, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News Halloween edition, the James Webb Telescope captures a ghostly image in space.
Plus, Seoul, South Korea sees its deadliest tragedy since 2014. One of the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch in India, at least 60 people, including some children, are dead after a pedestrian bridge collapses. More than a dozen others were injured when the bridge in the city of Mumbai fell into the river below. It's not clear what caused the collapse, although the structure was recently renovated. A top Indian official says the focus is on searching for survivors, but pledges the government will find out how and why the bridge collapsed. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said his country will strengthen its ties with the UK, and that's following a call he has had with the new Prime Minister Rishi Sunak on Thursday. Modi signed an agreement with former Prime Minister Boris Johnson back in 2021, promising to enhance cooperation between the two nations. The two countries have been negotiating a bilateral free trade agreement. In August, the UK government said it hoped the majority of talks would conclude by the end of October. There are new coins in the UK, and check out the new 50-pence coin with the portrait of King Charles III. They're set to hit general circulation by Christmas, alongside a commemorative £5 coin with a portrait of late Queen Elizabeth II. The head of the Royal Mint Museum calls the new coin quite the moment in British history, after 70 years of coins bearing various portraits of the Queen. Well, thousands gathered in Prague Friday to demand the current center-right government step down. The demonstrations took place on a national holiday and were organized by far-right political movements, various fringe groups, and the Communist Party. Protesters were seen waving Czech flags and holding signs calling for the country to leave the EU and NATO. At least 45 people are dead in the Philippines due to severe flooding caused by tropical storm Nalgae. The storm has left 33 people hurt and 18 are still missing. Nalgae brought torrential rains to the southern island of Mindanao, creating landslides and forcing thousands to flee to higher ground. And more than 150 people were killed and more than 80 others injured in a stampede during Halloween festivities in Seoul, South Korea on Saturday. Among the dead are 2 American college students. Officials are calling this one of the biggest disasters in the nation's history. South Korea has mobilized a task force to look into what happened. It's currently analyzing video clips taken by security cameras and posted to social media. Astrid Martinez has the latest.
South Korea's president visited a memorial altar early today for the more than 150 victims of a stampede that happened during Halloween festivities in the capital of Seoul this weekend. He also announced a national week of mourning as investigators continue to look into the cause of the tragedy. Tens of thousands of young people crammed into a narrow party district of Seoul on Saturday when suddenly a crowd surge became unmanageable. Minutes later, witnesses say people were falling on each other like dominoes, but insist the area was so packed with people and slow-moving vehicles, first responders couldn't reach those in need.
There was a mix of things I heard, but there was panic coming towards us, some shouts of fear, but also confusion.
There's so many people. What are you gonna do with 10 people? And I had to turn around and I told the crowd, you can't come this way. People are dying.
Most of the victims are people in their 20s and 30s. Nearly 2/3 of those killed were women, according to South Korean officials. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
26 foreigners were counted among the dead, including those 2 Americans. This was the deadliest disaster for South Korea since 2014, when a ferry sank, killing 304 people, mostly high school students. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
We're dealing with some spooky fog this morning, pretty dense in some locations. Visibility's down pretty low. As you can see, Anderson, for example, just a hint above a half-mile visibility. Some stretches at almost 0 visibility this morning, so do be aware of that. 7th and Range Line, patchy fog in Joplin, 54 degrees right now. Temperatures around the region not too shabby either. 50 in Sedan and Independence and Parsons and Pittsburgh and Fort Scott and Nevada, so not bad there. 51 Carthage, 50 Neosho, and 45 in Anderson. Live look at the MoDOT camera looking west on I-44 from Range Line. I think some of the focus issues because there's some pretty dense fog in patches out there across the area, and because of that we have a red light for your morning drive as we'll be foggy through the entire morning commute. Temperatures in the 40s. Clouds will clear out later along with the fog, and will be green light for your drive home, mostly clear and in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, of course, a little bit spooky Halloween fog out there, 47, and we're heading for a high of 68, and that's where we'll be when the kids get home at 3 o'clock under mostly clear skies. So high of 68 today under mostly clear skies, and the good news is for trick-or-treating, we're looking to be in the lower 60s, upper 50s, and as we head into tonight, we'll be partly cloudy and drop back down to a low of 48 degrees. Quick check of sunrise and sunset. It'll rise at 7:41 and it will set again at 6:21 this evening. Now to your 7-day forecast. So first off, let's take a look at some of that trick-or-treating weather that we do have for us, because we'll go hour by hour this evening if you've got some plans. Even if you're not trick-or-treating, maybe you just have some outdoor plans. 66 at 6, 62 by 7, and 59 by 8 o'clock. And on the rest of that 7-day forecast, we warm into the 70s for the week ahead under partly cloudy skies. And we're watching increasing shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend, and those clouds and rain will bring us back down into the 60s. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Aurora and Marionville Police Department announced a Sunday evening fatal crash at the intersection of Highway 60 and Highway 39 in Aurora, Missouri. Troy Devine, who was 15 years old, passed away in the crash. There's no evidence of impairment by any party involved, but the accident is still under investigation. A woman is in serious condition after a hit and run in Pittsburgh. Authorities say an SUV hit 43-year-old Melanie Ishmura on the 1400 block of East 20th just before noon on Friday. They say the SUV car immediately left the scene. And police describe it as a pewter-colored SUV and say it was traveling west. It appears to be an early 2000 Chevrolet Tahoe or GMC Yukon. Might have damage on the front passenger side area. If you have information related to the incident, you're urged to contact Pittsburgh Police Department. Fire crews battle a mobile home fire near Seneca, Missouri. The home was burning on Angus Drive near the Oklahoma line. Everyone was reported out of the residence. Reddings Mill Fire responded along with Newton County Ambulance. They requested mutual aid from the Seneca, Quapaw, and Joplin fire departments. Our reporter Shannon Becker tells us 2 adult residents have now lost their home. And Joplin's Empire Market celebrates Halloween in style. Empire Market typically is used to give local vendors an opportunity to sell and showcase their items. But on Saturday, they used the space for kids to go trick-or-treating. And of course, there was candy, but there were farm animals to pet and a virtual costume contest. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And a check of that forecast that you need to know as you head out the door. We've got some patchy, dense fog across the area as Tanya and I have been talking on my drive in. We ran in some spots that were almost zero visibility, so be aware of that. Some patchy fog in Joplin right now. Temperatures aren't bad, though. 54 degrees, so a pretty decent start to the day. And temperatures across the region are sitting that same way. Upper 40s, lower 50s. 44 Neodesha, 49 Chanute, 50 in Pittsburgh, 52 Lamar, and 51 in Carthage. Live look at the MoDOT camera looking west on I-44 from Rangeline. Some patchy fog out there, and then we do have the red light for your morning drive because some of that fog could be pretty dense in areas. Otherwise, foggy through the entire morning drive, so do be cautious out there. But we do have a green light for your drive home because we'll be mostly clear by then, and temperatures in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus have to deal with some of that fog this morning. 47 degrees with a calm wind, and then a light westerly breeze, and 68, mostly clear when they get home, and 68 is our high today. For trick-or-treating, we'll be in the lower 60s to upper 50s, so some pretty mild weather. As we go through tonight, we'll have partly cloudy skies and drop back down to a low of 48 degrees. And a look at your 7-day forecast. We head into the week ahead, start to warm up into the 70s, partly cloudy skies, and we're watching increasing shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend. They could do two things for us. One, bring us some decent amounts of rainfall, which we absolutely need, and a few of the storms could be on the strong to severe side. Of course, it's still several days out, so we'll keep an eye on it for you. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
NASA captured a ghostly image leaping across the cosmos.
This is the dark side of the Pillars of Creation, a massive structure of interstellar dust, gas, and young stars. It's located 65,000 light years away in the Eagle Nebula.
Pillars of Creation were first observed by the Hubble Space Telescope in 1995. This image taken by the James Webb Space Telescope is an entirely new perspective.
Just for a fun fact for Star Trek fans, that puts it, I'd have to look, either in the Gamma or Delta quadrant.
Okay.
Just so you know, thousands of stars have formed within the pillars, but we can't see the starlight because of the mid-infrared light that's used.
It's still pretty cool.
It is very cool.
Well, going through a car wash can sometimes be a bit scary for some people, especially children.
Yes, it can. But a Wisconsin car wash is taking the scary up a notch, courtesy of Halloween, of course. Tommy's Express Car Wash says it's offering a haunted car wash.
They say the tunnel of terror will scare the socks off your entire vehicle, as long as it gets it clean. If you'd like to have that happen to you, but you don't live in Wisconsin, don't worry.
The Scary Tunnel will be in nearly 60 locations nationwide. You can head over to their website to see where and when you can get scared out of your socks. So Trendy, our oldest, when she was a little bit younger, I picked him up from daycare, and she fell asleep in the back seat. We went through the car wash. She slept through the whole thing. And so when we got closer to the end of the blow dryers, I rolled her window down.
You're so mean.
She was not happy about that in the slightest. Anyway, we have more spooky stories for you.
All right, so well, here are pumpkin carving. Here, you know, you have your pumpkin carving contest, and then there's some more pumpkin carving contest.
In the Florida Keys, they do them a little differently under the waves. The annual underwater pumpkin carving contest Saturday featured 18 scuba divers in competition. Competitors carved their jack-o'-lanterns near Horseshoe Reef, about 5 miles off of Key Largo, 25 feet below the surface. Divers created everything from sharks to jellyfish to pirate pumpkins.
Curious saltwater fish also swam close to nibble on bits of the orange gourds that floated off. Good thing those pumpkins don't bleed. The winners, I lost my script, got a free dive trip for two at Amaray Dive Resort, the contest sponsor.
Well, a new mom cradling her newborn baby boy at the Columbus Zoo. So Malika welcomed her bundle of joy in mid-October.
Okay. The zoo said both the mommy and the baby mandrill are doing well. Oh, Dad is observing from afar, respecting the space the mother needs right now. He knows better.
We know that all too well. Now, according to the zoo, the baby, who has no name yet, is eating and sleeping often. It's what I do. The other mandrills have been welcoming to the new addition as well.
Currently, the baby has light pink skin with light and dark gray hair, but that will change as he grows. He'll end up looking like his dad when he's 8 or 9 years old.
So that just a lot of interesting things. The monkey's not so spooky unless you irritate the mother. That's when it gets a little scary.
or your daughter in a car wash?
That was just too much fun. It was too much. Now the kids look forward to it if we go to the car wash. They're like,
yeah.
roll the windows down.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
They're
become
always
a thing.
asking, the car looks like it needs washed.
But there's the car wash. Can we go? We just washed it yesterday. Yeah, well, it got dirty again, so okay. We got another quick check of your forecast right after this. Well, we've got some eerie fog this morning for some of us, but otherwise the rest of the forecast not creepy at all. Mostly clear skies, 68 for the high. And the good news is we've got some good trick-or-treating weather. We'll talk about that in a second. Tonight will be partly cloudy and drop back down to an overnight low of 48 degrees. And then as we look ahead, first let's take a look at that trick-or-treating forecast, because if you've got some plans, even if you're not trick-or-treating, you'd probably still like to know how the evening's shaping up if you're going to be outside, right? So we're going to be 66 at 6, 62 by 7, and 59 by 8 o'clock tonight. So good weather to get out there and enjoy. And then look at this week ahead. We warm into the lower 70s under partly cloudy skies, and by Friday, we start watching increasing chances for showers and thunderstorms, bringing us some rain that we absolutely need across the area. And these storms could bring us a fair amount of rain as well. Of course, we'll keep watching the forecast as we get closer. We'll be right back with more of the KOAM Morning News coming your way.
Right now at 6, authorities in Oklahoma now investigate the deaths of 8 people in a house fire as a murder-suicide.
We've got some eerie fog out there on your Halloween Monday. We'll talk about that dense fog and how Halloween forecast is looking coming up.
And workers at Peace Church Cemetery want to preserve the past by protecting it in the present.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News Halloween edition. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now 6 o'clock in the morning. And if you're doing some driving, there's some fog to contend with out on the roads this morning. In fact, some areas, like we were talking, almost zero visibility. I could only see maybe 10 or 15 feet ahead of me. So do be aware of that across the area. You can see the fog is confined mostly to extreme southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma across the region, but still foggy nonetheless. Patchy fog in Joplin. It's a little clearer on this shot than it was earlier. 52 in Joplin. All right, the airport now officially reporting fog as the conditions in the city. Temperatures across the area, upper 40s and lower 50s. 51 Parsons and Chanute, 48 Pittsburgh, 47 Miami, 45 in Anderson. Live look at the MoDOT camera looking west on I-44 from Rangeline, and you can see some of that fog out there, which I think is what's been messing with its focus this morning. And that's why for your morning drive, we do have a red light in place because the fog will not burn off before your morning commute is complete. We'll be in the 40s, but we do have a green light for your drive home because we'll be mostly clear and in the 60s. So don't worry, the fog and clouds will go away. Kids getting on the bus this morning, 47 degrees and very foggy. A calm wind out there, and when they get home, we're looking at 68 and mostly clear skies with a light west breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Looking at a high of 68 today with those mostly clear skies, and as we head into tonight, we'll be partly cloudy, drop back down to an overnight low of about 48 degrees. We'll talk about the trick-or-treating forecast and some rain chances down the way, plus a warm-up. All happening this week here in just a few minutes.
Yes, a lot to talk about.
It's always good. And this week, for the first week of November coming up, it's very unusual temperature-wise.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Like cooler or warmer than normal?
You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Ooh. That's a tease. All right, thanks, Chris. Oklahoma authorities say the death of 8 people, including 6 children, found in a burning home in the Tulsa area is now investigated as a murder-suicide. Broken Arrow Police Chief Brandon Berryhill says the 6 children ranged from 1 to 13 years old, and the 2 adults found dead are considered suspects. The causes of death are still under investigation, but the Broken Arrow Fire Chief says it does not appear anyone died because of the fire.
This is an extremely difficult time for our city and our departments. We pray that healing will follow this, and as we move through this investigation, it will continue to be a difficult time.
Police chief says guns were recovered from inside the home. He says there is no danger to the public related to this case. The Aurora and Marionville Police Department announced a fatal crash at the intersection of Highway 60 and Highway 39 in Aurora, Missouri on Sunday evening. Troy Devine, who was 15 years old, passed away in the crash. There's no evidence of impairment by any party involved, but the accident is still under investigation. Candidates across the country are making their final push this week with Election Day just over a week away. New CBS polls show a staggering number of Americans believe things in this country are going badly, which could mean trouble for the party in power. This all comes amid new concerns about potential violence surrounding the midterms. Deborah Alfarone has more.
I'm feeling good. Over the weekend, President Biden sounded a note of optimism just days out from the midterm elections. But a new CBS News poll shows a staggering 79% of Americans believe things in America are out of control. And a majority of the people who feel that way say they'll vote for Republican candidates. Still, the latest CBS Battleground Tracker gives the GOP a slight edge to win control of the House. The Senate is a statistical toss-up.
We're going to see not just a red wave, but a red tsunami.
More than 21 million Americans have already cast early ballots for next week's midterm elections, according to the U.S. Elections Project. But still, voter intimidation and also potential violence at polling places remain a concern. The Department of Homeland Security and other agencies released a new domestic intelligence assessment Friday that said extremists fueled by election falsehoods, quote, pose a heightened threat to midterms.
You have threats of harassment, intimidation, and violence against election officials, polling places, and voters. Let's be really clear. That has to stop.
These warnings perhaps take on new urgency after Friday's violent attack on the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Police have not specified a motive, but law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation confirmed to CBS News the suspect in the attack had a list of other people he wanted to target. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Candidates in several states will be getting a presidential push this week. Tuesday, President Biden will head to Florida, while former President Barack Obama will hit the trail in Las Vegas and then Arizona the following day. And later in the week, former President Donald Trump is expected to headline rallies in 4 key states, including Ohio and Pennsylvania. Well, Peace Church Cemetery in Jasper County has a long history, and the workers want to keep it alive even though new burials have not been done there for years. KOAM's Yana Hatula joins us live from Peace Church Cemetery to tell us more. Yana?
Thanks, Tanya, and good morning from the Peace Church Cemetery, where we are live now. They have not taken any new burials for a few years, and there's a reason for that. Even though the graveyard doesn't look full, all 5 acres of land is packed with graves. According to the caretaker Jim Beeler, new burials are not encouraged because there are several unmarked graves. Some of these graves have soldiers from the Civil War, and some are big areas of family graves.
Stories were said that the people were buried on people. I don't know that that's a fact, but when you look around the cemetery, they're buried in all different directions and in all different places.
Jim Beeler told me that sometimes people enter the graveyard to have haunted experiences, but he wishes that people do not do that to respect the dead people here. Live in Joplin, Yana Hautala, KOAM News.
All right, thank you, Yana, so much for that report.
All right, quick check sunrise, sunset today, 7:41 for the sunrise, 6:21 for the sunset. Now on to the 7-day. First, I wanted to tell you about the trick-or-treating forecast for tonight, which is actually looking really good for trick-or-treaters this evening. Mostly clear skies, and temperatures are looking really nice as well. 66 at 6, 62 by 7, and 59 by 8 o'clock tonight. And then with the rest of that 7-day, we warm into the 70s. This is the unusual temperatures for the first week of November. And as we head through into the weekend, we're watching the chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head into the weekend, which could do 2 things for us. One, bring us a pretty hefty amount of rainfall, which we definitely need, just hopefully not all at once. Some computer models show upwards of even 4 inches of rain out of this storm system. And the other thing we're keeping an eye on is there's the possibility these storms could be a little strong to severe. Again, we're still several days out, but that's just what some of the data is indicating now, and we'll keep a close eye on them through the week and keep you updated as we get closer.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it, like you said. All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on KOAM Morning News, New York City agrees to pay $26 million to 2 men wrongly convicted on assassinating Malcolm X.
Plus, 'tis the season for things that go bump in the night. And a museum in Chicago, that means some seriously creepy dolls.
And tonight's the night for kids to rake in the candy, and we've got tips on how to keep your young ones safe this Halloween. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, New York City has agreed to pay $26 million to settle lawsuits filed by two men wrongly convicted of assassinating Malcolm X. Mohammed A. Aziz and Khalil Islam has been convicted of the 1965 assassination of Malcolm X, but Aziz and Islam were exonerated last year after a judge found serious miscarriages of justice in their cases. Both men served more than 20 years in prison, but Islam died in 2009 and received a posthumous exoneration. The push to establish their innocence came after the 2020 Netflix documentary called Who Killed Malcolm X? The New York City Law Department is working on the final details of the settlement, but a spokesperson says the money will be split evenly between Aziz and Islam's estate. Well, the man accused of attacking Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, is expected to be charged today and arraigned tomorrow, and that's according to the district attorney in San Francisco. While Paul Pelosi remains hospitalized at Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital, officials are considering federal charges against the suspect. John Lawrence reports.
Madam Speaker, how's your husband doing?
It's an incident that has lawmakers shaken nationwide.
What happened to Speaker Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, is just, it's horrific. And it's horrible, and it shouldn't happen anywhere.
David DePape is accused of breaking into the Pelosi home in San Francisco on Friday, fracturing Paul Pelosi's skull and injuring his arm and hands.
We've got to say, we can have a heated conversation about the issues, but this violence has got to stop.
A spokesperson says Paul Pelosi is expected to make a full recovery, but the House Speaker says the alleged attack has left her family heartbroken and traumatized.
I believe people in both parties are guilty of intense rhetoric that really leads to, feed into these people who are deranged and create violence.
Authorities say the 42-year-old DePape was not known on any federal databases tracking threats, but they did say DePape posted conspiracy theories about COVID-19 vaccines and the 2020 election on Facebook. President Joe Biden commented over the weekend, blaming the assault on the spread of political misinformation.
We can't just say, I feel badly about the violence. We condemn it. Condemn what produces the violence. And this talk produces the violence.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, days after taking over Twitter, Elon Musk caused a stir Sunday when he tweeted a link to an article that made numerous false claims about Paul Pelosi. Musk deleted the tweet a few hours later, but it had already been retweeted around 30,000 times. That's a look at one of today's top national stories.
We've got some dense fog across parts of the area. Extreme southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma. Some areas visibility is down to a 1/10 of a mile or less. You can see the fog. It's starting to show up a little better on our tower cam at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. 52 degrees with those foggy conditions. Across the area, temperatures in the upper 40s, lower 50s. 44 Neodesha, 51 Chanute, 48 Pittsburgh, 52 Lamar, and 51 in Carthage. So more fog visible from the MoDOT camera looking west on I-44 from Rangeline this morning, and we do have a red light because of that fog, and it's going to stick around for your entire morning commute, so do be aware of that. Temperatures in the 40s. Green light for the drive home because we'll be mostly clear and in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus will face some of that spooky Halloween fog, and 47 degrees with a calm wind. Light west breeze at about 5 to 10, 68 and mostly clear by the time they get home. And 68 is the temperature we're going to reach today under mostly clear skies, and for trick-or-treating, we're looking at the lower 60s, upper 50s, so not bad out there. 48 and partly cloudy tonight, and as we do the 7-day, we start to warm into the 70s this week with some partly cloudy skies, and we're watching increasing shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into the upcoming weekend. Got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Chances are you've already enjoyed some Halloween festivities this weekend, but the big day, of course, is today. Just in case you and your family are headed out tonight, Lauren Posen has some helpful reminders to help keep everybody safe.
This frightening haunted house got trick-or-treaters in the Halloween spirit.
I'm gonna be the Grim Reaper, and I can't believe I'm on TV for the first time.
The Grim Reaper will be joined by his little sister. She says she's dressing up as a beloved character from The Wizard of Oz.
Dorothy.
Before they and hundreds of other kids head out in their best costumes, one of the big worries during Halloween are kids and cars. This dad says he sticks to his trusted game plan.
Just to make sure to stay together in a big group and just go to areas that you know.
Another key is staying visible to drivers. Doug Shoup with AAA says parents should consider adding reflective tape to their kids' costumes.
This was a great costume because it had great reflective material on the front, but the back had nothing. So we put reflective tape on it to make it look like it was part of the costume.
He says always make sure to stick to the sidewalk and use the crosswalks. And for drivers, slowing down is key. Shoup says it's not a good idea to cut through neighborhoods where trick-or-treaters will be.
So as drivers, we need to be prepared to watch out for kids who may be excited and dart between parked cars.
After all those trick-or-treaters are after one thing.
Candy.
This mom says she does one thing before her kids get to indulge.
We'll still be checking candy and just kind of looking at it, making sure that bellies aren't hurt with too much candy, but also kind of looking it over.
A lot of Halloween fun coming our way tonight. It's hard to believe it's already Halloween, and as we mentioned earlier, Thanksgiving and Christmas are just right around the corner. I know I probably don't want to be reminded of that right now, but we are getting closer to the end of the year. All right, dense fog to deal with across part of the area, southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma. And you can see some of that fog on our tower cam at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin, and we are reporting fog officially at the airport, 52 degrees. Temperatures in the lower 40s to upper 50s across the area, 50 in Independence, 51 Parsons, 48 Pittsburgh, 48 Miami, and 50 in Neosho as we start the day. I'm going to show you a different MoDOT camera. This is the one at Main Street, South Main Street, as it looks off to the southwest, and you can see a little bit more of that fog across the area. And for our commuter cast, we do have a red light because of that fog, as we'll be foggy through your entire morning drive. So do be aware of that with some very reduced visibilities in some areas. Green light, though, for your drive home will be mostly clear and in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, you're going to have to deal with some fog. 47 degrees, though, with a calm wind. And when they get home, fog and clouds clear out. We're mostly clear, and 68 is the high we will reach today. Not too bad considering that it's the last day of October. Heading into tonight, we are partly cloudy, and we'll drop back down to a low of 48 degrees. And a quick check of the 7-day forecast. One of the first things that I want to show you on the 7-day forecast is our trick-or-treating forecast for tonight. So we'll go hour by hour this evening, and the good news is it's shaping up to be a pretty decent one. So it'll be 66 by 6, 62 by 7, and 59 by 8. So good trick-or-treating weather. And the rest of the week looks decent too as we warm into the 70s under partly cloudy skies. And then we'll have some increasing shower and thunderstorm chances heading into the weekend. Some of these could be a little strong to severe. Still a few days out. We'll keep an eye on them for you. They could also bring us some copious amounts of rainfall across the area. And then almost forgot, we fall back this Sunday. So remember on Sunday to set your clocks back 1 hour. We got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, Halloween can be a scary night, but trick-or-treating is supposed to be fun, not dangerous. Still, too many kids are hurt every Halloween. To stay safe, doctors at Cleveland Clinic Children's say make sure masks or costumes do not block kids' vision. Start early so it's still light outside, and use reflective costumes, glow sticks, and flashlights to make trick-or-treaters more visible. Well, patients with chronic kidney disease may have better outcomes if doctors track and manage related symptoms like fatigue, chest pain, and quality of life issues. The multi-year study published by the American Society of Nephrology followed patients not on dialysis and found those suffering from worse symptoms had a higher risk of death or in need of dialysis later in life. And pregnant immigrants in the U.S. are less likely to receive timely prenatal care than people born in the U.S. Researchers at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine say they can contribute to long-standing health disadvantages. CDC says 1 in 4 births in the U.S. is to a person who is an immigrant or non-U.S. citizen. Millions of Americans are living with vision loss, and those conditions also increase their risk for other health and well-being issues. October is Blind Awareness Month, and Elise Preston shows us an organization helping people with vision loss navigate and educate the world around them, one step at a time.
So let's go forward. Heather, forward, honey.
Lori DeMarco is constantly learning the world around her.
And then go forward. Yeah.
She lost her vision more than 40 years ago from diabetic retinopathy, a leading cause of vision loss in the United States.
It's dark. There's no color. But remember the static on TVs years ago when it didn't work? Well, it moves through my eyes like clouds.
According to the CDC, more than 4 million Americans age 40 and older have uncorrectable vision impairment. That number is expected to more than double by 2050 as a result of diabetes, other chronic diseases, and an aging population.
Vision loss is something that affects many, many people.
Bill Schultz is the president and CEO of Vision Loss Alliance of New Jersey, a nonprofit helping those living with blindness or vision loss live independent lives.
Too often people who are blind or have low vision tend to be isolated, and we want to make sure that they're part of a community and that they're getting skills that they need.
The organization also helps people advocate in their community, so places like this wine store know how to best serve customers.
So we take a step over this way.
And participants learn how to take advantage of technology, like Seeing Eye apps.
Whispering Angel Rose 2021.
Oh, nice. What does that independence mean for you? Freedom.
For retired teacher Lori DeMarco, it's a mission.
I'm an educator, so the way a blind person delivers the message is also important.
A message for those around her about living with vision loss. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
And people with vision loss advise sighted persons who want to help not to startle them by coming up and touching their arm. Just simply ask first if they need assistance and then respect their reply. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty foggy start to the day across the area. The MoDOT camera at range line 944 looking west right now. You can see the fog out there. That's why we do have a red light for your morning drive, as this fog will stick around all morning long, so do be aware of that. But a green light for the drive home, because the clouds and fog will eventually go away. We'll be mostly clear in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning. It's going to be a little creepy out there for Halloween morning with all that fog. 47 degrees and a calm wind. And when the bus brings them back home, we clear out, mostly clear skies. 68 with a light breeze at 5 to 10, and 68 is our expected high for today under those mostly clear skies. So perfect weather out there. And the good news for trick-or-treating is we're looking at the lower 60s and upper 50s. So beautiful weather to get out there and go get some candy or whatever else it may be that you're doing this evening. 48 for the overnight low under partly cloudy skies, and a quick check of the 7-day forecast. We start to warm into the 70s as we go into the week ahead with partly cloudy skies. We're watching increasing shower and thunderstorm chances this weekend as well, which we'll keep an eye on these, but rain is what we need, and rain is thankfully on the way yet again. And then don't forget, Sunday, make sure you fall back, set your clocks back an hour, get an extra hour of sleep. We're going to be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, authorities in Oklahoma now are investigating the deaths of 8 people in a house fire as a murder-suicide.
We've got some patchy, dense fog to deal with across the area, but it'll clear out. We'll talk about the Halloween forecast and some warmer temperatures coming up.
And workers at Peace Church Cemetery want to preserve the past by protecting it in the present.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So the fog we've been talking about all morning, some of the visibilities are down to 1/10 of a mile, maybe even less in some locations. So do be aware of that. And on the fog tracker, you can see where it's confined to southeast Kansas, extreme southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma. And you can see like Grove, for example, checking in with a 2/10 of a mile visibility. So be cautious while you're out there. Remember, use your low beams, not your brights, and use your fog lights if you've got them. 7th and Rangeline, you can see that patchy fog out there. 52 degrees right now in Joplin. Temperatures across the region pretty good for a last day of October morning. 50 in Independence, 46 Chetopa, 49 Pittsburgh, and 52 in Lamar. Live look at that MoDOT camera looking west on I-44 from Rangeline. You can see the fog out there and the lights, and you definitely want to slow down and be cautious. Red light for your morning drive, as we'll see fog through your entire morning drive. Temperatures in the 40s. But we do switch to a green light for the drive home because this will pass. Mostly clear skies, temperatures in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning, be a little creepy outside for Halloween morning with all that fog. 47 and a calm wind. And then as they come home, 68, mostly clear, and that breeze is light from the west at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're heading for an afternoon high today of 68 degrees under mostly clear skies, and we'll drop back down to a low of 48 this evening under partly cloudy skies. And we'll talk more about the warmer temperatures, some rain chances, and break down your trick-or-treating forecast here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, going to be a lot of little trick-or-treaters out there. They want to know if they need to wear jackets or just their costumes, layers under their costumes. What are their options?
There are several options available, and we'll let you know which one to pick here in just a couple minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Chris. Oklahoma authorities say the deaths of 8 people, including 6 children, found in a burning home in the Tulsa area are now being investigated as murder-suicide. Broken Arrow Police Chief Brandon Berryhill says the 6 children ranged from 1 to 13 years old, and the 2 adults found dead are considered suspects. The causes of death are still under investigation, but the Broken Arrow Fire Chief says it does not appear anyone died because of the fire. The police chief says guns were recovered from inside the home. He says there is no danger to the public related to this case. Peace Church Cemetery in Jasper County has a long history, and the workers want to keep it alive even though new burials have not taken place there for years. KOAM's Yana Hatula talked with the cemetery caretaker and joins us now live.
Thank you, Tanya, and good morning. We're live here at the Peace Church Cemetery, where they have not been taking any burials for several years, but they still want to continue and honor and respect those ones who were buried here. A cemetery paints a picture of the past, and each gravestone tells a unique story.
1840s, 50s, and 60s, when a baby was born and it didn't survive, they just needed to find a place that they could bury it.
Jim Beeler is the caretaker at Peace Church Cemetery in Jasper County. He says the first recorded burial dates back to 1846.
Stories were said that the people were buried on people. I don't know that that's a fact, but when you look around the cemetery, they're buried in all different directions and in all different places.
Even though Peace Church Cemetery doesn't look full, the 5 acres is packed with graves. The last burial was completed in 2003. Beeler says new burials are not encouraged because there are several unmarked graves.
We don't know exactly where the burial graves are. It would be very difficult to bury someone here and not find a grave that's there.
Some of the soldiers from the Civil War are buried in the cemetery, but many of them are in unmarked graves. So far, volunteers have identified and marked roughly 300 plots.
A lot of people did not have the funds to establish a grave marker, and if we've found one and we know who's buried there, we've tried to make a grave marker for them to where at least they're recognized and their birth and death date.
For half a century, the cemetery grew wild, until Beeler and his team stepped in.
Many graves were sunken really bad. We are in the process now. We have a couple of work days a year.
It took 6 years of clearing overgrowth, repairing headstones, and leveling graves before the Peace Church Cemetery officially reopened in 2020. Even though the cemetery does not actively take new burials, the volunteer group wants to keep it maintained to honor the dead.
We all live, we all love, and when we die, we still need to be recognized in death.
A recognition everyone deserves that starts with a simple headstone. Yeah, Jim Beeler told me that he wishes people do not come here for haunted experiences because sometimes that is the case, but he wants to honor the dead. I'm live in Joplin, Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
Well, Yana, we did send you out there on Halloween morning, and I was just curious, how has your experience been out there this morning?
It's been good, except right now our light is making this weird flickering, so this is kind of this kind of scary. It's already dark and the light is like going on in and out, so yeah, it's been okay. At least I have someone here with me.
All right, thank you so much, Shauna. Well, this morning we're discussing Halloween monsters.
Yeah, some new figures are hiding inside the Chicago History Museum's Crossroads of America exhibit. Until recently, the chilling toys were just haunting museum storage. Now visitors can stare into those glassy eyes.
Visitors are provided clues about where to find the dolls if they dare. But like any nightmare, the dolls' visit is only temporary. Soon they'll find their way back to the museum's darkest corners.
That brings us to our question for you. What is your favorite Halloween monster? Is it ghosts and ghouls, witches, zombies, werewolves, vampires, or maybe something else? 50% of you say it's witches, 20% of you say zombies, and 10% of you say werewolves and vampires, as well as other. Nobody seems to like ghosts and ghouls until you experience one for yourself, like the poltergeist in the KOAM studio. Make sure you vote if you dare, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Do so through our app, and of course take part in the creepy discussion on our Facebook page.
Chris is extra creepy this morning. Facebook.
All right.
That's
How about look at our sunrise and sunset for today? Not so creepy there. 7:41 for the sunrise, 6:21 for the sunset. 7-day forecast is looking really good, but we also want to share with you the trick-or-treating forecast, of course. So if you're trick-or-treating or have some outdoor plans this evening, we're looking pretty decent temperature-wise. We're going to be 66 by 6, 62 by 7, 59 by 8. We warm into the 70s for the rest of the week, and then we're watching shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. It's been less than a week since Elon Musk took over Twitter, and a number of celebrities have announced they are leaving the platform. We'll explain why.
And we're going to take another look at your creepy, foggy Halloween forecast when we come back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, it's been less than a week since Tesla CEO Elon Musk took ownership of Twitter, and already some celebrities are calling it quits with the social media platform. Grey's Anatomy creator Shonda Rhimes and Grammy winner Sarah Bareilles are just a couple of stars who've tweeted their goodbyes, while NBA star LeBron James tweeted his concern over a report that use of the N-word has skyrocketed on Twitter since Musk took over. Musk says there are plans to create a content moderation council. Well, Russia is suspending its commitments to a United Nations brokered deal that allowed the shipment of millions of tons of grain from the Ukraine during the war. Russia announced the move, claiming it's because Ukraine launched a drone attack on its Black Sea Fleet ships, which Ukraine denies. Ukrainian officials say more than 200 cargo ships are now effectively blocked. Analysts fear global wheat prices could soar. And tonight, there's another chance to win the massive Powerball jackpot, which is now an estimated $1 billion. There were no top prize winners for Saturday's drawing, though 6 people won the $1 million prize in California, Maryland, Michigan, and Texas, with one more winner in Florida, doubling their earnings to $2 million. Tonight's drawing is for the second largest jackpot in Powerball history. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a foggy start for the day, which you can see. Look at how foggy it is at that video wall. So extraordinarily foggy over there. Fog everywhere. Fog in the control room as well. And look at how dense this fog's looking on the MoDOT camera, looking live west on I-44 from Rangeline. That's why we do have a red light for your morning commute, as we'll be socked in with the fog through the morning drive. Temperatures in the 40s. Green light for the drive home because the fog will burn away, the clouds will go away, and we'll be mostly clear in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning will have to deal with that fog though. 47 with a calm wind, and then this afternoon the wind will be west at 5 to 10, so not bad. 68 and mostly clear, and 68 is our high for today. Under mostly clear skies for trick-or-treating, we're looking at the lower 70s and upper 50s, and as we head into tonight, we'll drop back down to a seasonable 48 degrees under partly cloudy skies. We got another check of your forecast and the news you need to know when we come back.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Private First Class Alfred Hand. A native of Chanute, Kansas, and served from January of 1944 to the end of World War II as part of the 283rd Combat Engineer Battalion, Company B. This decorated veteran earned 3 Bronze Stars. To Private First Class Alfred Hand, we thank you. Today's 4-State hero.
All right, we've got a good list of Halloween birthdays today, and we begin in Neodesha with Tegan Cares, celebrating birthday number 4. And this comes with love from Dad, Papa, Nene, Uncle Brett, Aunt Bailey, Papa Richard, and Grandma Linda. Happy birthday, Tegan.
All right, Lana Kimnek celebrating birthday number 10 this year, and Lana is in Girard.
All right, and we have Summer Largent celebrating birthday number 14 in Southwest City. Very happy birthday to you, Summer.
Also turning 14, it's time to celebrate for Kinsey Carnall in Erie, Kansas.
And we've got Dalton Slichting turning 19 in Lamar. And this comes with love from Grandma and Grandpa. Dalton, a very happy birthday to you.
Out in Chanute, Julie Hasler celebrating birthday number 57 this year. Happy birthday, Julie.
And in Columbus, we've got Steve Dooley celebrating number 60 with a great catch there. Very happy birthday to you, Steve. Maybe you can get something even bigger today.
All right, happy birthday, Steve. Larry Leverance in Buffalo, Kansas, celebrating the big 7-5 this year. Looking great there, Larry.
And over in Chanute, we've got Mo Elliott celebrating birthday number 83. A very happy birthday to you, Mo.
All right, Jamie Otto celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday, Jamie, in Columbus.
And we've got Tandy Almond celebrating a birthday in Riverton. Tandy, a very happy birthday to you.
All right, and Ann Emerson celebrating a birthday in Chanute. She would be on the left in the white shirt there. Her birthday was actually on Friday, but we're celebrating all the way through to today.
And we've got Tub and Sue Moore celebrating wedding anniversary number 59 in Crestline. A very, very happy anniversary to Tub and Sue Moore.
All right, and our very own Dow Quick, KOAM executive producer, evening anchor extraordinaire. We all know and love Mr. Quick. Dow, happy Halloween birthday.
And Dow just celebrated 42 years on the air this month at KOAM. 42, that is a long time to be coming in here and doing this every night. But Dow, we're very grateful you're here, and I know the 4 states are very grateful you are here. So happy birthday, and here's to another 42 years.
That's right. Happy birthday and happy anniversary this month, Dow.
And we continue our birthday list with Jimmy Lovell in Cherokee. We've got Bella Briggs celebrating birthday number 12 on Saturday in Mulberry, and this comes with love from Mom. We also have Sue Arnold in Miami celebrating a birthday and a 13th wedding anniversary, going out to JJ and Angela Carlinger in Pittsburgh. Now, you see how there's a list here and there weren't any pictures with it? We want more pictures, and Tanya's going to tell you how you can get them to us.
All you have to do is send them to us through email. Just scan them, or just if you already have them online, save them and send them to our email at birthdayswithan@KOAMtv.com or birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. You can always send it by U.S. Postal Service as well, or drop it by our station.
Absolutely, and why don't you drop by KOAMnewsnow.com, because not only do we have the latest news, weather, and sports there, we also have an opportunity for you to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do, and once you do, you get some great deals from local businesses. In addition, you get a nice little birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. All you need to do is go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. And we've got a very foggy start for our Halloween. Good chunk of southeast Kansas is fairly clear, but you get into extreme southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma. We got some fog to deal with this morning. Visibility is in some cases down to 1/10 of a mile, so do be cautious. You can see some of the fog at 7th and Range Line there, and our temperature right now is 49 degrees in Joplin with a light southwest breeze, making it feel like 47. So, yeah, foggy conditions to contend with. Temperatures across the region not bad. 43 Neodesha, 51 in Chanute, 49 Iola, 50 Fort Scott, and 50 in Nevada. Live look at the MoDOT camera looking west on I-44 from Rangeline. You can see the fog in the lights out there, so do be aware of that. And that's why we have the red light for your morning drive because of the fog, and it's going to last through your entire morning drive with temperatures in the 40s. We got a green light, though, for your drive home because we will clear out, be mostly clear and in the 60s. Kids getting on the bus this morning will have to deal with that eerie Halloween fog out there. 47 with a calm wind otherwise. And as the bus brings them home, 68 mostly clear. Wind is west at 5 to 10. And 68 is our high today under mostly clear skies across the area. So a beautiful end to October. And as we head into this evening, partly cloudy skies will drop back down to an overnight low of 48 degrees. And in terms of trick-or-treat, because I know everybody has probably got some kids, got some plans, and if you don't have kids, maybe you have other plans that you're going to do this evening. And the good news is we got some great weather for it too as we head through the evening. 66 at 6, 62 by 7, and 59 by 8 o'clock. So perfect trick-or-treating weather out there. And then look at this week ahead. First week of November, we climb into the lower 70s, but then we're also watching increasing shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend. A couple of things possible. We could see some models are suggesting upwards of maybe 4 inches of rain, and we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, again, this is several days out, so we'll keep an eye on it, but one piece of good news is more rain on the way, and it's rain that we desperately need. And then don't forget to fall back on Sunday. Get an extra hour of sleep. We're back with more right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. An update to a story we first brought you Friday. The Aurora and Marionville Police Department announced Sunday 15-year-old Troy Devine passed away after being struck by a vehicle on Friday. The incident happened at the intersection of Highway 60 and Highway 39 in Aurora, Missouri. There is no evidence of impairment by any party involved, but the accident is still under investigation. Authorities say an SUV hit 43-year-old Melanie Ishmer on the 1400 block of East 20th Street just before noon on Friday. They say the SUV immediately left the scene. It appears to be an early 2000 Chevrolet Tahoe or GMC Yukon. It might have damage in the front passenger side area. If you have information related to the incident, please contact the Pittsburgh Police Department. And fire crews battle a mobile home fire near Seneca, Missouri. The home was burning on Angus Drive near the Oklahoma line. Everyone was reported out of the residence. Reddings Mill Fire responded along with Newton County Ambulance. They requested mutual aid from the Seneca, Quapaw, and Joplin fire departments. Joplin's Empire Market celebrates Halloween in style. Empire Market typically is used to give local vendors an opportunity to sell and showcase their items. But on Saturday, they used the space for kids to go trick-or-treating. Of course, there was candy, but there were also farm animals to pet and a virtual costume contest. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We've got a beautiful day for us today. Once the fog and clouds clear out, we're mostly clear. 68 for trick-or-treating. We're looking to be in the lower 60s and upper 50s, which is good news. Through this evening, we'll have partly cloudy skies and drop back down to a low of 48 degrees. And check the 7-day forecast. You can see where we warm into the lower 70s heading through the first week of November. And then we're watching increasing shower and thunderstorm chances as we head into the upcoming weekend. And of course, on Sunday, don't forget to set your clocks back an hour, get that extra hour of sleep.
All right. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making a chili cheese dog ring in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. We're going to meet the artist who is scary good at carving pumpkins, how he's reinvented his carving technique to create true works of art. That's ahead on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Webb City High School's own multimedia reporter, Brecklin Matthews, has an inspiring story about a coach's actions off the field.
Plus, the year looks to be the most expensive Halloween ever for this year. If you've got some last-minute shopping to do, we've got some tips that may save you some hard-earned Halloween money. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We're going to see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll do it again today at noon.